Hi, my name is Carlos. I am an intern here at the U.S. Artist Extension, and today I'm going to teach you a holiday staple, a pumpkin pie. This recipe is surely to excite anybody at any holiday get-together. Let's get started. So this recipe has quite a few ingredients, so I highly recommend doing mix in place or mix and floss. Now, I have all my ingredients measured out right here in front of me. So I have my granulated sugar, I have my vanilla, I have my flour, I have my baking powder and baking soda. You need both in this recipe. Also, I have my salt, I have my cinnamon, my canned pumpkin, my farm eggs, my powdered sugar, my butter, and my cream cheese. Some extra tools that you'll need for this recipe are a sifter and some parchment paper. Let's go into the next step. To begin, we're going to preheat our oven to 375. And now we're going to start working with what we call our dry ingredients. So that is our flour, our leavening agents, and our spices. So first, grab your sifter and place it over your bowl. Take your measured flour and other ingredients and add them into your sifter. Do not sift them individually. You want to sift them all together so it's a consistent texture throughout. Cinnamon and clove. And my sifter is a crank sifter. There also are sifters where you just shake the basket itself. But either way, sift all your ingredients together. It should be a nice fine powder. So next, we're going to prepare our pan. So grab your cooking spray and give your jelly pan a nice spray. Okay? Keep that spray near because we're going to need it again. Now we're going to take our parchment paper. Make sure it's parchment paper, not wax paper, because wax paper will burn in the oven. Make sure it's parchment paper. And we are going to tear us off a piece and place it in our pan. And it's going to stick to the pan because we sprayed our pan with our spray. Spread it out. Make sure it's all stuck down. Just like that. And now we're going to spray the top of the parchment again. Just like that. Now we're going to take 1 or 2 tablespoons of flour and sprinkle that on top of our parchment. This is going to help ensure that our cake does not stick. And just kind of shake it around a little bit. Give a little tappa. And then empty your excess flour out into the trash. Let's go into the next step. So next, we're going to work with our wet ingredients. That is our eggs, our pumpkin, our sugar, and our vanilla extract. So we are going to beat our eggs and sugar together until it turns light and fluffy.
Once you have whipped your eggs and sugar until it has lightening color, it is now time to add in your pumpkin. Just whisk to combine this until it's all evenly combined or homogeneous.
So now that we have our dry and our wet ingredients combined, we are now going to put the two together. So add your dry to your wet. So just a little bit of a whisk and slowly stream in your dry ingredients. Don't add too much at one time because it can lump, and you do not want lumps in your cake. Now, once you have all your dry put in, just mix it until all the flour disappears, but don't mix it too much more than that. Elsewise, it will be a tough cake. So just like that. Okay? So now, we're going to put our batter into our prepared pan. Use a spatula and make sure you get all of it out of the bowl. And also, make sure the parchment is not folded in on itself. There goes all the batter. And now, we're just gonna spread it all over our pan. This might take a little bit, but be patient. You don't want an uneven cake. It will make rolling it much harder. So it may look a little thin, that's okay, because it's going to rise some in the oven. Like that. Now this is going to go into the preheated 375 oven for 13 to 15 minutes, unless if you're using a dark pan, then start checking it at about 11 minutes. We'll be right back. So while our cake is cooking, we're going to go ahead and prepare our tea towel. So lay out your tea towel and fold it in half so you have a long rectangle. Just like that. And now we're going to take a quarter of a cup of powdered sugar. You might need a little bit more, but I'm going to start with a quarter of a cup and we'll add if need be. And we're going to sprinkle it over the tea towel. This is going to make sure whenever we roll our cake that it does not stick to the towel. And just spread that out with your hands. And now our towel is ready for when our cake comes out of the oven. All right, so next up, we're gonna make our cream cheese filling. First, we're gonna begin by opening our package of cream cheese, placing it in a medium to large bowl. Just like that. And to this, we're going to add our powdered sugar. Just start off with half of it. Powdered sugar is kind of finicky to work with. So you can use either a spatula or an electric mixer for this. I'm going to use a spatula just because most people have a spatula. And we're just going to mash our cream cheese and our first part of our sugar together. Be right back. So now I'm back from getting my cake out of the oven. I'm back with mixing in the powdered sugar into my cream cheese. So far it looks like this. Now we're gonna add in our other part, our powdered sugar, and mix that in. The second part is gonna go in much easier than the first part. It's because everything's already starting to get wet. Now right here, this is where you can add your splash of vanilla. I did already add mine as well. And it should look a little bit like that. And now, we're going to mix in our softened butter. Make sure it's softened, elsewise it's going to be very hard to actually mix it into the cream cheese. We're just going to do the same like matching motion with our spatula. Or if you feel more comfortable using a wooden spoon, you can use that as well. Either one works, just make sure you get it all nicely mixed. My favorite method is to get everything mushed in a little bit and then mash it against the sides of the bowl. Alright, just like that. And there's your filling. So now we have to wait until our cake is completely cooled before we put our filling in. Elsewise, it'll just melt right out. So I'll come back whenever that's cool. So now we have our cool pumpkin roll, and then we also have our made cream cheese frosting. So now we're going to fill our pumpkin. Let's first begin by unrolling it. Just like that. Little piece broke. That's a-okay. It's gonna be on the inside. It's okay. So now we're going to take our frosting. We're just going to dollop it right in the middle of all that filling out. And we are going to evenly spread this out, but we're going to try to leave about a ½ inch of a border around it. If we go all the way to the edge, when we re-roll it, the filling's going to squish out the sides. And we don't want that. It doesn't make good for presentation. Do it gently and smooth it across. Don't do it too hard, else you can tear the cake. But this is a really tender cake. That's well spread out. Every piece has some frosting on it. And now we're gonna roll this back up. So just like when we rolled it up originally with our towel, we're not gonna do the towel this time, but we're gonna do the same motion. But don't do it too hard, else your cake will crack. Start. You can actually use the towel to pick the cake up a little. Start like this. And just gonna roll it. So just letting gravity roll it for you, that will actually roll it just the right amount of tightness. And boom. You have your rolled pumpkin roll right there. Now, we're gonna wrap this in plastic wrap and let it chill for at least an hour so everything can solidify together.
And here you have it, the holiday delicacy.